Hi, this is a quick video on nested structs. Okay, so far we've seen how to work with structs. Now, what if your struct is designed in such a way that you have way too many data members to keep track of? For example, an address is never simple, right? There's more details to an address. So if you see here, we have street name, door number, city, zip, state, lots of things. Likewise, a date, right? It has day, month, and year, and it's easier if we keep it like this so then we can sort by the different data members. We can search and do things like that. And also with the student data type itself, we have first name, last name, ID, we have a join date, we have a quit date, different things in GPA. So instead of putting it all in one struct, what I have here is we are still working with the student data type. So by now you know how that works. I have split it into multiple structs. So the address goes in its own struct. And we are moving over to char arrays for everything. So I have char arrays for all of that, right? We have a const for the max car and we have char arrays for everything. So we don't need a string anymore. And I have a struct for date, okay? And then I have the struct student type. So make sure you define this innermost structs, if you will, first. Then when you define the student type struct, you have your data members, and when it comes to address, now your address is essentially of the type address which you have already defined here. Okay, so that's all it is. So you define your struct first and then you use it in another struct. And the same with the date. So now I can use this data type date for two different dates, join date and quit date, right? So it makes it easier for organizational purposes. Okay, so then you write your program the same way. So you have the same PCC student and PSU student. And again, we get all the information. Everything else is the same, except that when you read values for the address, for example, because it's in a nested struct, for example, student's address. First thing you get is street name because street name is separate, right? You can't read the whole address as such. You have to read street name first, door number first. So you read street name would be PCC student dot street student address, which is this variable, dot street name, which is this variable. So you have to drill down using the dot, which is the member access operator. So this is my variable at the highest level, dot student address dot street name. So this street name has to be a char data type or a char array data type to be able to use that syntax. And that's all that syntax cares about. Okay, so if you're reading an GPA, for example, you want to make sure that this is a double, right? And this is a string, for example. So when you drill down, okay, and then you output it. So your output is very similar. You can still use your assignment operator for structs for right now. And then when you run it, you're going to see the same results. The result is not going to change much. Now you have organized everything better inside of your program itself. Okay, so we can put something there, 4.0, and it gives you all the information. Okay, so that works the same way. So that's all there is to nested structs.